My sweet Lord, do we have a ton of great information for today. Joe Duffy's picks, another great night last night. 6-2 on Friday. 791, 633 overall going back to August of last year. 72-41 in football. 2-0 sweep last night. 6 college football wise guy plays, 8 majors. We're likely going to have some NBA too. Still waiting for some lines to be posted as we file this report, but 6 college football, wise guy plays, 8 majors from your grandmaster. Joe Duffy's picks at offshoreinsiders.com. Now, let's get to your big information for today. The most lopsided picks in terms of the percentage of bets. Georgia Tech, Ohio State, Michigan State, Iowa State, and Louisiana Tech. The biggest sportsbook liabilities, the most lopsided bet in terms of money. Iowa State, Ohio State, Georgia Tech, Michigan State, and Florida. Now, who are the biggest sharp versus squares, or some people call it pros versus Joes, or pros versus schmoes? Louisiana Monroe, Notre Dame, USC, UCLA, and Kansas. Now, key weather brought to you by MyBookie.ag, where you get a 100% sign-up bonus if you use the promo code Duffy. One case in which there's a very good chance of precipitation. Stanford and Washington, 73% chance of precipitation. But winds are significant. And once the winds get above or get at or above 15 miles per hour is when we do consider it significant. Air Force and Army, 15 miles per hour. Michigan State, Maryland, 16 mph. Oklahoma State and Baylor, 18 miles per hour winds expected. Do you know the way to San Jose and Wyoming? 23, so that's really getting significant. Kansas State and TCU, 22. Added rotation, no, this is a regular rotation game actually, isn't it? Liberty and Massachusetts, 17. UTEP and Rice, 16. All these miles per hour, obviously. West Virginia, Texas, 18. UConn and Tulsa, 16. Houston and SMU, 16. Kent and Buffalo, 21. Kansas and Kansas State, 15. The biggest line moves today, we have several lines that have moved by 3 points. Arkansas State opened up at 17, minus 17. They're down to minus 14. That's against South Alabama. Northwestern opened up as a 7-point underdog to Notre Dame. They're now up to a 10-point underdog. Oregon, minus 13 to UCLA is how they opened up. They're now a 10-point favorite. Mississippi State, minus 20.5. They opened to Louisiana Tech. They're now up to 23.5. Oklahoma opened up as a 10.5 point favorite, to Texas Tech. They're now a 13.5 point favorite. I want to give you some trends for today, some trends to look at. UAB is going under, 15 of 17. East Carolina on a 14, 36-2 skid. We're going to have a free pick, by the way, coming up in a moment. Hawaii, 14 and 32 skid. Idaho has gone under 9 straight. Fresno, 20 and 5 as a favorite. Oklahoma State has gone over 23 and 7 as a favorite. Again, MyBookie.ag, generous grant makes this podcast possible. Most importantly for you, you're going to get paid on time, but it also a chance to cast an emphatic vote. You want more and more free information like this. If you use the promo code Duffy, D-U-F-F-Y, you get $1,000. That's right. You deposit $1,000. You can have $2,000 to bet with immediately. Please use the promo code Duffy, D-U-F-F-Y, at mybookie.ag. A free pick. This is actually one of our premium picks. We're going to go with Texas A&M and Auburn to go under the total. When you have at least one high-scoring team, but a fairly low total, and either or both have a total much less than the previous week. So it's one of those, use the odds makers against some type of thing. That's going under at a 406 and 248 run from Joe Duffy's picks. Texas A&M and Auburn to go under the total. Now, when we release it as a premium pick, it was 49. These are the best teams to bet on so far this year in terms of the margin of cover. Some people like to call it the spread margin. What we'll do is we'll give you the spread record, followed by how much they are covering by an average of a game. So the margin of cover, much like a margin of victory, except it's relative to the point spread. Army is 5-2-1, covering by an average of 13.5 points per game. Utah State 7-1 by 12.6. Fresno State 7-1 by 12.1. Cincinnati. Just drove through there a couple times on my way to visit my son in Columbus, Ohio. Cincinnati's 5-3, but by 10.3 points per game. The best teams to bet against in terms, Florida International, they are covering by an average of 10 points per game. And did not actually type the record. I believe they're 7-1 against the spread, but Florida International covering by an average of 10 points per game. The best teams to bet against. Louisville is 1-7 this year, missing by an average of 16.4 points per game. Florida Atlantic, 1-7, minus 11.8 points per game, sweat barometer or a margin of cover. New Mexico State is 2-7, minus 10.3. Florida State, 3-5, minus 9.4. The biggest over teams, we'll give you the over record first, and then followed by how much they're going over by. Houston is going over 5-3, plus 12.9. Utah State 7-1, going over 7-1 by an average of 12.6 points per game. Oklahoma 7-1 by an average of 12.1 points per game. Old Dominion 8-1 by 10.6. Oregon State 6-2 by 10.6 points per game. The biggest under teams will list the unders followed by the overs. So Mississippi State has gone under 6-1, going under by an average of minus 13.7. We put it negative numbers when we're talking about a team that fails to reach a total. So they have a negative 13.7 over under margin. Kentucky's going under 6-2 by an average of 13.1 points per game. Tulsa 7-1. They've gone under by an average of 11.1. Washington has gone under 8-1 by an average of 9.6. UAB has gone under 7-1 by an average of 9.1. Look, it's holiday gift season. Make sure you visit Duffy Gifts. That's my wife's business. Yeah, visit DuffyGifts.com for the best holiday gifts. And mybookie.ag's got that huge, huge, huge bonus. And nobody in the history of the world has won more than Joe Duffy's picks, and no one's had a better 14-month run, or it's about 15-month run now, I guess. 791 and 633 overall. A lot of baseball underdogs. 6 college football winners. 6 college football wise guy plays. 8 majors. Joe Duffy's picks at offshoreinsiders.com.